need to talk about the difference between flooding and desensitization. These terms are most likely to come into play when we're trying to help our dog get more comfortable around something that scares them. Systematic desensitization refers to exposing the dog to a trigger in such a way that they remain under a therapeutic threshold. They're in their green zone brain. This is a place where the dog feels safe and secure. They're curious, they're problem solving, they're able to engage in pro-social behavior. We should certainly see that fine motor skills are fully online, the digestive system is fully online, and they can play. The thing is, there's a lot of nuance to that. And if you're not really skilled at understanding dog body language and behavior, it's very easy to cross that therapeutic threshold into flooding. With flooding, we're exposing the dog to a trigger in such a way that they are over their therapeutic threshold, and we're actually making the fear and anxiety worse. And this can show up in sort of little flooding or big flooding, but either way, it's not desensitization, and it's not going to get us the results we want. For example, I might say, my dog needs to get used to having his ears handled, so I'm going to mess with his ears. And I just start willy-nilly playing with his ears, touching them, poking them, flapping them around. And my dog says, wow, that's really annoying. I hate that. I'm not getting my dog used to their ears being handled in that scenario. Instead, I'm really sensitizing my dog to their ears being handled. My dog is now becoming more averse to it because they're having a bad time. Remember that tolerating something is not the same as enjoying it. And coping with a stressor is not the same as not being stressed about it. Another example of this, kind of at the other end of the stress scale, might be a dog that's not just annoyed or having a mildly bad time that's going to stack up, but a dog that is completely over threshold, in the red zone. They're experiencing fight, flight, freeze, fidget, or fawn. And unfortunately, freeze, fidget, and fawn are pretty easily misunderstood. And unfortunately, sometimes we don't recognize fight and flight for the really big stress response that it is. For example, let's say we have a dog who's scared of other dogs or working on building their social skills around other dogs, and we take them to the dog park or daycare or a giant walk with other dogs and one handler. Sometimes in these scenarios, the dog is so overwhelmed that they go into freeze, which is passive coping versus active coping. And it's associated with higher levels of stress, decreased resilience, and decreased ability to self-regulate. And unfortunately, those dogs are often mistaken for being fine, but they're dissociating. And when we can't tell the difference between the two, things can get a lot worse really fast. And then we've completely lost control over the situation. A thing that's true about behavior change, the slower we move, the faster we go. When in doubt, go more slowly. I think one of the things that can really trip people up is that they don't realize that the criteria can be broken down any smaller. So someone might say, my dog has separation anxiety, and I started with just 5-minute absences. And to them, that might be the smallest criteria they can think of. 5 minutes alone, surely that's a good starting point. But a good trainer is going to help you break down that criteria even more finely so that you're helping your dog just get used to, say, the pre-departure cues of you picking up your keys or putting on your shoes, touching the doorknob and sitting back down. Or someone might think, I need my dog to get used to the car, so I'll just drive them around the block 3 times. And they might not know that that work can actually start with the dog outside of the car and the car off. The slower we go, the faster we go.